What's going on, everybody? What's going on out there? Hope everybody is having a good day. Um, of course, we already know, you know, that we're here, we're breathing, of course, because we logged on. Thank you for coming to the Lethal Truth. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. So, with that being said, I want to give you a round of applause. And like I said, you know what I'm saying? I just want to welcome you to the Lethal Truth, where the truth shall set you free. And I'm talking about mentally and not physically. Um, Before I begin, um, I want to say, of course, we got a new president, which is not very new. We got Donald Trump in office. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess for those that did vote for him, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Lethal Seduction? How are you? So, like I said, I want to thank those that came out to this, listen to what I have to say today. Excuse me for a minute. I got that technical difficulty. I kind of learned how to figure this out. You know what I'm saying? I got some new stuff coming, so bear with me. You know what I mean? Yo, here for the knowledge. Good evening. So like I said, I got something good for y'all. Um, Man, it's a whole lot that's going on. You got the FBAs out here wilding. I would like to talk to you in a few. Um, you got the Boulets, which is my actual topic, and a lot of people don't know about the Boulets. Which I decided to actually entwine this podcast with the FBA to see, well, not to see, well, to show them the things that they're headed for, because you know, everybody talking about Fat Joe and Math Hoffa and everything, and compared to the Boulets and this Fat Joe stuff, no disrespect to the FBA, but that's punk stuff. That ain't nothing. That's not nothing. Then you headed for something more powerful than that. They ain't relieve. They ain't reveal themselves yet to you. But it's coming. I don't know what's going on with my thing here. It mess up one more time. I'm gonna have to switch it up. But I'm gonna still keep going. So let's get right into it. Who, who are the Boulets?
Yeah, I'm back at you. It's always Satan that's trying to interrupt. You know what I'm saying? Always kind of interrupt. I always try to make it good. And here comes Satan, always trying to come into the mix and always trying to interrupt something. But I got the God on my side. So it's nothing going to stop me from delivering the message because I pray and I also pray just before I always come on. So God is always with me. So Satan out there, you ain't going to stop nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to stop nothing. So let's get right into it. Who are the Boulets? Well, before I begin on that, I want to say that this subject matter is a very, very, very touchy subject matter. Um, it's very touchy because I'm not shining a light on white folks like that. I'm putting the spotlight on us. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like a lot of black people, when they talk about white people or talk about the white system, they always talk about white people, white people, white people, but they never put the light on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because white folks can't do well, they can't do what we allow them to do. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right into it. You know what I'm saying? Salute a lot. What's going on? TV salute. Okay, you're in the building. So, like I said, we're gonna be talking about the Boulets, but like I said, I'm gonna entwine this with the FBA because they're out there making a lot of noise. A lot of people don't know about the FBA. They really haven't disclosed, their purpose or what they're trying to accomplish in this country. So, before I get into the FBAs, let's get right into the Boulets. Who are the Boulets? Well, prior to the Boulets, during like the Black Codes era and the Reconstruction era, we were still facing a lot of challenges. We were still facing a lot of challenges, and we was going through a lot of oppression because they tried to make it seem like we was free. I asked this about what 2 weeks ago. I said, when did this country ever make us citizens? I was waiting for somebody to answer, but I was going to come back to this. But it happened around what, June 13th or June 18th, 1866, because we was going through this black codes or slave codes era. So they wanted to make us citizens. Now listen to this. Listen to this. This is the slave code. I want you to pay attention to this. Number one, denied the right to vote. So we know we was going through that through the civil rights movement. Even now, some places you can't even vote. They tell you, they make an excuse, tell you it's closed. Hey, peace, John Banks, peace. They tell you it's closed. Oh, you can't vote here, or your votes end up missing because you're a person of color. Sounds familiar? Denied the right by trial. Excuse me. Denied the right to trial by jury. How many of us never get fair trials? Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, me, you, a lot of our leaders and other black brothers and sisters never got fair trials like that in this country. See, the slave codes never went nowhere. It never went nowhere. I'm coming to something. I'm coming to something. Children could not attend public schools. See, they socially engineer where our location at as far as our black community goes. So wherever we live at, that's the public school we go to. We don't go to the Asian community schools. We don't go to the Little Italy schools. We don't go to China. I mean, I said Chinatown, but we don't go to the Jewish school. Well, you know you don't go to Jewish community school. You know what I'm saying? See, this is slave codes. Ain't nothing changed. FBA, I hope you listening to me. I'm coming to something. Okay. Had to carry passes to prove that they were free. In other words, back then, see, the police started because of slavery. So every time they had runaway slaves and they saw a slave on the road, you had to show your papers. Today they call it the ID. Sounds familiar to you? We coming to something. I want to, okay. People go always saying things change. Okay. Yeah, change. Okay. Could not gather without a white person. In other words, sometimes we can't get a good reference nowadays without having a white person on our paper for a job or anything that we necessarily want to do to be successful. For some reason, we always have to have a white person's name on our paper. Check out our last names. My last name is Morgan. There's no African people named Morgan. We're attached. Okay. This one is a good one. No groups of more than 3 Negroes could gather. Sounds familiar? I ain't even got to go into it with that. I really don't. So that's enough said right there, right? So around this time, we had about 265 black delegates in the government due to the help of Frederick Douglass. But we still was facing these challenges. So around what is it, 17, I believe, 57, they had something called the Free African Society. What I mean had they had something called the Free African Society that started in Pennsylvania. These were the bourgeoisie black people. You know, they was light brown, light skin. You know, they was the house niggas that oversee the slave quarters, the plantation. They made sure they kept the niggas in order for the slave master. They was the go-between man. You understand? So this was the first free black church. For my parent, I don't know, understand for whatever parent reason, they decided to say Free African Society. Yet they was descendants from people in North Carolina. I don't understand it, but that's what they wanted to call themselves. And then they was following the Caucasian theology, and they separated themselves from the black people in the hood. So as time go on, this is in the 1700s. As time go on, we get to 1904, May 16th. Jazzman, what's going on? So in 1904, on May 16th, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, these descendants from this Free African Society that was bourgeoisie, and they was the gatekeepers of the black community. Let me tell you that. They made sure things was going right. The slave masters, former slave masters, always went to them for help to get the niggas in line if they saw any type of protest or revolution. So around 1904, there was some sophisticated black men, professionals, highly professionals. They were descendants from this Free African Society. They went to prominent schools. They had prominent backgrounds. They came from bourgeoisie family that had either strong church connections. Well, we always had that, or strong political connections. And these men, they were medical doctors. I'm gonna read you their names. The founder, Henry McKee Minton, he was the first one to initiate all of this, the BOULE. They're called Phi, Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, the BOULE. And he's an MD, doctor. Aldrin Brasher Jackson, MD, doctor. Edwin Clemens Joseph Turnip Howard, MD. Richard John Wallace, Jr., DOS, pretty much doctor though. Robert Jones Abel, MD. Eugene Theodore Henson, MD. These men didn't start this fraternity in a college. They started this fraternity outside of college, and their main goal was to gather up all prominent black individuals, successful individuals, individuals who had a name for themselves. Their bylaws was discipline, excellence, ambition, education, and responsibility. It only went for the select few. This is not no university stuff. This is on the outskirts because they had to socially engineer ways to uplift black people without white people knowing. And they crafted their society after Skull and Bones. That's why you see like George Bush and John Kerry, they ran together. This is Skull and Bones. They only go after people who are prominent in society and come from a prominent background or from a family such as. So now, these people decided through World War One and World War Two to shape Black America. And then you had the Civil Rights Movement. See, I want to stop right there, right? I want to stop right there because I want you to understand a little bit more about the Boule. We're gonna get to the Civil Rights Movement. The Boule, they have a sign. Let me show you. Let me show it to you. They have a sign, and this sign is not but it's not a deity. A deity. It's really a symbol that they have that they excuse me for a minute. They normally rock as a symbol that represents their organization. I'm pretty sure you saw LeBron James with this on. This is very interesting. When I seen it, I was just like, wow, really? Like, wow. I couldn't believe it. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. The Sigma Pi Phi. So this is their symbol. So the back legs and the tail represents the animal on land, a lion that's dominant. And then the eagle, excuse me, the wings and the head represents the eagle that sees everything over in the air. You know how eagles, they see everything, no matter what, from far away. And in front of them is this vase. Vase consists of the names who are the chosen few. And the body that represents everything that's standing before that vase represents the gatekeepers. That's what it represents, a gatekeeper. That's interesting. You know, who also got this? Yeah, hit that like button and that subscribe button, please. You know who else got this symbol? Because I'm getting to I really want to show you something. I really want to show you something. Who actually got this symbol as well? And it's interesting that he has it because I was just like, when I seen it, I said, man, you know what? You really can't really trust too many people nowadays in entertainment. They act like they for you, but they really not for you. Seeing if I could find it for you. This is real interesting when I saw him with it. Okay, here we go. Now look at that. I want you to see. I want you to see what's on his chest. This is the boule. This is the gatekeeper. Look at LeBron. Excellence, responsibility, discipline, and education. He has it all. And he's a billionaire. He got so much power, he had his son play with him on Lakers, on his team. And his son is really not that all that. I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve. I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve to be, in the NBA because I don't hate on my people. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate on him. You know what I mean? But when you have power, you can do that. That's what the boule is. Now we down to civil rights movement, right? Now, in the civil rights movement, by the time it got to the civil rights movement, there was other fraternities and sororities that was coming about. That was being allowed to go to white universities. Excuse me, is a word. That's a little play on words. A black university that was named after white folks. The gatekeepers. See, the plantation, the slave master, they got to keep us connected. And these schools was made by John D. Rockefeller. Just like you have what is it? Spelman. Spelman is really Rockefeller's wife. She just dropped the Rockefeller name. It's just Spelman. Laura Spelman. Those colleges, those are not yours. The curriculum that's made, those are not yours. Those educations just enough to get you by. No disrespect to your paper. I'm not disrespect. I just want you to listen to me. Hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. So now they had something in the university called the Divine Nine. The Divine Nine. Right? It's interesting they call them the Divine Nine. We'll get to them. And I know a lot of you out there that's in these fraternities and these sororities, you feel like you're not part of this system that I'm talking about, but you are. You are part of the secret society. See, when you start to get into these societies first, when you go to these colleges, You can't just say, "Hey, I want to be down with it." It doesn't go like that. You have to have references. You have to have background. Sounds familiar? You have to have good education, and you got to bring these transcripts. But they do it all in a whisper and quiet. And I know you're probably saying, "Nah, nah, nah, nah. I ain't never went through that way. They never told you to do this. You ever did this? When they talk about the burning sands, did you do this? When they talked about the history of fraternities and sororities, did you do this? Secret society. Now, I want to talk to you about these people in the secret society because they are all under the Boulets. I'm gonna give you a little taste of who the Boulets is. Okay. In this day and time, LeBron, Bill Cosby. You see how Bill Cosby came home all of a sudden? Everybody else ain't home. OJ Simpson. You see how OJ beat trial? Oh, I gotta say this. Allegedly. I gotta say allegedly, because you can get sued, allegedly. You know? But let's get to the divine now. We're gonna go into more the Boulets or who they are. Let me show you who about the divine nine. Let me pull their stuff up for you. Oh, excuse me. Pull their stuff up for you. I want you to see their names, their the signs, and it's very interesting to me because I never understood why black people would want to be Greek or black Greek, especially with a background that represents the Caucasians. I just don't understand it. It's like you going from African American to something else now. You know what I mean? I mean, first we talk about we was African. Now we're talking about African American. Now we got BA thing. Well, we're gonna get into all of that, right? This is what you got up here. This is the Divine Nine. These are people who are supposed to be under the guidelines of the Boule, because the Boule wants to control all prominent black leaders in all fraternities. So if you're in one of these fraternities and you're a leader, whatever you say holds weight to shift your fraternity or sorority where you can shape black America, then you fall under the Boule and they're coming for you. These are the nine, the divine nine. Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity is really known for community service and their leadership. They always involve themselves in some sort of leadership. They are also known to be 90% of the successful black lawyers, male black lawyers in America. Yes, Johnny Cochran was definitely an alpha. You know who else? Thurgood Marshall, who was a Boule, the highest Supreme Court judge. You see, positions. It's all about positions in your secret society. Dr. Martin Luther King, he was a Boule. He even got skipped in grade. He was so intelligent. He was the youngest assistant reverend and doctor that was in the church. When they was going through the civil rights movement, the Boule needed somebody out in the front to speak because they owned majority of the stores in the black community. They didn't want to upset their former slave master, but they was trying to position themselves in power. So they had to shape the black community. These are the gatekeepers, man. Are you listening? Y'all all right out there? Oh, so the next you have is W.E.D. Du Bois. He was part of that fraternity. Not only he's a Boule, but he opened up the Boule chapter in New York City. You see why you always heard in history that him and Booker T. Washington always went at odds. You always heard that W.E.D. Du Bois never agreed with Marcus Garvey because the Boule wants to integrate with the former slave masters so they could stay rich and the poor stay poor. Uh, y'all all right? Okay. Then you have the Alpha Kappa Alpha sororities. Who's part of that? Rosa Parks. You see why they stood up for Rosa Parks in the civil rights movement? Or all sisters that was pregnant that refused to get up off the bus, went to jail, ain't no black civil rights leader helped them because they didn't fit the criteria. You had a baby out of wedlock, you wasn't married, you make us look bad. So we can't stand up for you, just like Daniel Penny. That's why they never stood up for him. Because he was a cool, they claim, or drugs, and he didn't fit the perfect image that they wanted to defend. So he just another dead nigga. But not Rosa Parks. They stood up for her. They stood up for her. Meanwhile, her whole damn husband had a car. But at that time, husbands went to work and wives went to work the best way they know how. Some of them, their husband would drive them some more. But Rosa Parks, that's how it sparked with her because she is part of the BOULE. She is part of the Divine Nine. She is the mother of civil rights movement. They call her that for a reason. She's a part of the BOULE. You know who else? Fast forward, Kamala Harris. You see why when they do the interview on Kamala Harris, she never talked about what the anything for black people in her speeches. Even Steve Harvey, he said, I wish I could pull a video up for you, but I got this up here and I want to talk about them. Maybe as I go along, we'll talk about it. I mean, I'll show it to you. And since Steve Harvey, he's interviewing and said, okay, we're not going to have no black questions. Remember when I showed you the video when Puffy said, we're not even a part of the conversation? Puffy was a boule, but he went against the grain. They only go for millionaires and billionaires and people in perfect positions. You notice the circle, LeBron, Puffy, Jay-Z. These are all boules, man. That's why they're able to get away with the stuff they get away with long enough. But see, Puffy, he didn't want to play his position. Like Dr. Martin Luther King, he didn't want to play his position. He wanted to go against the 10% because that's what the boule represent. The 10%. It's funny because studying the teachings of the Nation of Islam and the Nation of Gods on Earth when I was younger, they always spoke about who are the 10%. And they said the 10% are the bloodsuckers of the poor. They know who the true and living God is, but keep it concealed for themselves. These are also might be 33-degree Freemasons. We'll get into that a whole nother time because that's a whole nother topic. Because we're talking about the gatekeepers. Okay. Y'all all right out there? Okay. Kappa Alpha Phi Fraternity. You got Cedric the Entertainer. We're going to keep going. You got Omega Phi Fraternity. You got Jesse Jackson. You got Steve Harvey. You got Ricky Smiley. You got Tyler Perry. You see why Cat Williams always said the gatekeepers? Mm, mm. He always said the gatekeepers, but a lot of us didn't really pick up on it. We just thought, oh, they all friends. They got their weight up. They could pick and choose who they want in the industry. No, it's much deeper than that. They control that lane. They pick and choose who they want in that lane. You think it's an accident or by luck that Jay-Z went from a CEO to a president and got all his publishing rights and masters back? Because if they told him, if you decide to sign with Def Jam as president, we give it all to you. There's something going on. It was something in that contract or that conversation because all of a sudden he didn't look back. He took off. Look at him today. He's powerful. They came at him in a meeting. They shut that down ASAP. These are the gatekeepers. These are the overseers on the plantation. You see why Cat Williams could say but so much. He couldn't really tell you about the gatekeepers. He said it. And then they said, why are black people, I mean, why they always, focusing on black people? He said, why else? Why else they wouldn't? He said, because they know who we are. We just don't know who we are. That goes back to the 33-degree Mason, who calls themselves Muslim sons, but that's a whole nother topic. Because they know who we are. We're not Americans. And we sure aren't. Well, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. Pi Beta Sigma fraternity. Al Sharpton and John Lewis. John Lewis was the man that walked with King. Al Sharpton. He's a boule. You see how weird it is for a civil rights leader like him to be talking all this pro-black and for black and black leadership and black rights, but yet he's on a Republican news channel called MSNBC, and he has a platform. The gatekeeper. Remember when he said, oh, we're going to go on boycott for one day. Keep the niggas in line. Make sure they're comfortable. We're going to strike for one day and everybody walking them, everybody feel good. Yeah, I got the niggas in check. Y'all all right out there? I just want you to know who your leaders are. I just want you to know who the gatekeepers are. Because it's just not just us in the hood or on the streets that's holding us back. It's them holding us back. White folks ready to give up whatever they get. They scared to death. It's these people. And those of you that's in these fraternities and sororities, I don't mean no disrespect, but I will say there are two different type of fraternities and sororities because I know some that they don't have a clue about none of this. They think they just, no, it's much deeper than that. And you got Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, Georgia Powers, civil rights leader, and first mayor Keisha Lance Bottom. She was the first black female lawyer in Atlanta. I mean, mayor in Atlanta. Then you got the Ottawa Phi Theta fraternity. I don't know too much about them, right? Okay, so we're gonna get right into talking, running my mouth. Y'all all right out there? Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. See, so they didn't really like King. They didn't really like King at the end. See, King, when he got to where he was at, he thought it was all good. You know, he was preaching, he was marching. They told him, communicate, claim, be Pacific, peace. They told him, you got to do the Gandhi thing because that's where they got it from. The nonviolence, turn the other cheek. But see, this is the Caucasian theology of turn the other cheek. Because if you read the Bible like I read the Bible, the God I know in that Bible, he did not turn the other cheek. He said he hated Esau. Hated, damn. That's a strong word. He flooded the earth. Sodom and Gomorrah, please. We ain't even gonna talk about them. So I don't know what God they was following, but they was letting white folks tell them what God to follow. That's why they was out there marching. But they was actually setting up a whole new world order for themselves by benefiting off of black oppression. So the Jews decided to fund everything in that organization for the Boule. As long as you keep the niggas in line. This is why they always got bailed out because it was the Jews that was funding the civil rights movement to keep us in check and to benefit off of our laws and our ways. Everybody benefited off of the civil rights. Even the Asian community benefited off of the civil rights. Soon as Biden got in office, they got a hate bill the first week. What about us? Everybody could get a bill but us. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get to why. So, you know, King had got a knock on the door, and he was instructed to meet someone. And this is very interesting. I want to show you this picture. A picture they never show you since it's his birthday. I gotta represent the brother. I gotta represent the brother. Since it's his birthday, brother. You know what I'm saying? I gotta speak the truth about Dr. Martin Luther King. That represents the BOULE, who was a member of the BOULE. Check that out. How come you never seen this picture? See, Martin knew something was going on, and it wasn't right. How you know, Slugger, you wasn't there? No, because I do research. I do research. You know, and I read his last speech, which is the mountaintop, where he said his dream turned into a nightmare, and he said I integrated my people into a burning house. That's what he said. So I don't know why you keep running around with I have a dream. No, that's the enemy. Just wants you to keep dreaming instead of waking up. These two powerful men, the most powerful men at that time in the black community, sat down for 4 hours in Elijah Muhammad's house. And Elijah taught him the true theology in the Bible for 4 hours. When King left, he was a different man. He started talking about go back to your communities and my nightmare. My dream was a nightmare. He started talking different. He started saying, come back to the community. Don't leave the community. Put your dollars back in the community. They said, Martin, don't you going somewhere? He said, no, we got to boycott because they benefiting off of our blood, sweat, and tears. We boycotting the sanitation, Wonder Bread. We boycott. He said, now you rubbing our former slave masters who been financing us. I don't care. Like a lot of leaders, we have that extracurricular activities when we're not around our wives for some time. And Martin was young. He wasn't perfect. The man wasn't even 30 yet. So he had little fun times. Allegedly, they said he had a few hookers and everything. I know for a fact that um, J. Edgar Hoover called him to his office and showed him pictures and tapping of his extracurricular activities and told him, don't say that mountaintop speech and don't go on that boycott. He said, show them what you got to show them because he saw the truth. That's why in his speech on the mountaintop, he said, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen everything. In the scriptures in the book of Moses, and I believe it's Deuteronomy, when he gets to the mountaintop, that's when he had a conversation with God, didn't he? And then he said, I saw everything because he's standing on top of the mountain and he's overseeing everything. See, we read the Bible in church because they give it to us on a basic level instead of actually teaching us the theology, the real theology of it. But the Caucasians, they know. They know what Martin was saying. They hid it from us from centuries because they know who we are. But once the boule pulled away from him and the propaganda didn't work and the people around them didn't really pull out like that, it was time for him to go. They had to kill him. See, they didn't have to do that with Marcus Garvey because the propaganda worked. His people left him. They left him for dead. But when it didn't work for Martin, had to go. The gatekeepers. This is who our black leaders are. So when you see them marching, this is who I'm talking about. Hold on. Communicate. I know I got to read what you're saying, man. Before his assassination at the age of 39 on April 4th, 1968, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate spent a decade giving fearless orations, and profound insights that continue to inspire generations. As we pay tribute to his life and legacy on the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, observed on the third Monday of January in recognition of his birthday on January 15th, 1929. You heard that January 15th, right? You see the disrespect? Today's the 20th. You see the disrespect? They just be moving his birthday whenever they feel like it. Very content, brother. Thank you, thank you. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Martin Luther King. He said that a man hasn't discovered something that he will die for. He isn't fit to live. During a speech in Detroit, he's right. You're absolutely right. So, of course, they had to get rid of Martin because Martin was messing up his own people's power. He was messing it up. He was messing it up where they can eat in the political offices and shake hands with the presidents and the politicians. And then the people would sit there and say, look, we made it. Look at us on the screen. Oh my God, Esther, look, we're about to be senator. But it ain't your system. It's just a smoke. Believe that you're making it, but you're not making it. You stand still, you frozen in time. You're not moving, you're not building, you're not doing anything. You are not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Another boule is Bob Johnson, Carter G. Woodson, Jesse Jackson, and Colin Powell. See, I'm telling you, they always go for the highest people in positions. Too bad for Colin Powell. They let him take the fall for 9/11 for the invasion. Yes, share this video because I'm getting ready to talk to the FBA for a few. A lot of people are scared of the truth. Yes, they're scared of the truth. You know, yo, it's funny. I said this before. I was in front of a lounge, and it was me and another conscious brother. We was just talking, and we was talking about the 33-degree Masons, right? I don't know how the topic came up, but it was a sister that was there and she was listening and she was just like, oh, I don't try to get into all that conspiracy stuff. That's too much. And, I don't got time for all of that. I just want my children to live a life. And I was just like, you remind me of Cypher in the Matrix. You remember the Matrix? See, this is what this world is. When you step out of your house, you actually think you see what you see. But the system and the getup is actually the other side of the Matrix. In movies, they be talking a lot of truth. And Cyphers, when he was eating, he said, I know this is not real meat. Just like I look at the politicians and I know you're not my black leaders. But I know I'm going to act like you my black leaders. But I know you're not. That's how he was talking. I know this is real meat, but it's not real meat. You just set it up in my mind to make it seems real and taste real, but it ain't real. That's the matrix we live in. This is the boule. This is the divine eye. This is the gatekeepers that Cat Williams is talking about. See? So when Kamala Harris was running, all the gatekeepers that had positions in the media was pushing us to vote for Kamala, vote for Kamala, vote for Kamala. But she can't even she can't even claim her own identity. Why would I want to vote for you? She can't even say she Asian or she black. She just let you figure it out. And she goes, yeah, right. She can't even say what's for black people. See? So these are the boule. These are the people that's in power. These are the people in 1984 in Chicago did a press conference, I believe 84, 82, did a press conference and decided with the help of the American government to say that we are African Americans. Now, my question is, who told you to do that? Who told you to speak for us? You didn't come and ask us what kind of identity we want. You just came up with a conclusion that you're going to name us or put us in a category of being born two places at the same time, African and American. What? Even Africa don't respect that. They're like, what is that? We don't know what is that. What is that? But I understand, we have a connection to Africa because of our DNA and our ancestors. I get it. I get it. But Africana is a European name because you colonized Africa. Just like Americas, you colonized this country. We don't know what the name was before, but we know it was in Americas because we was here already with the Indians. So you just named us after two European, European names of countries, and then you look at our last names. We are some messed up people. We are messed up. That's why we got to study. That's why education is so important, and they hiding it from us. They don't want us to know who we really are. Now, FBA, because I think I'm going to get back to this in a few. FBA, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. That's why I said this is a touchy subject. And I know a lot of my brothers and sisters that's a part of this movement probably won't like what I have to say. Now, I understand you came out with this movement, I believe, 2017. You say you're not an organization, you don't have a leader, you don't have a president. This is what I'm hearing. But I also see you have a flag. Hold on. When we was here before, both of them, exactly. Exactly. We was here, man. I want to tell you how these people was created. We gonna even talk about the Enoch Bible. We're gonna talk about why they banned it. We all in that book, man. But anyway, we ain't gonna go over the topic. But the FBA, they have a flag, right? Let me show you the flag real quick. Show you the flag. Because I don't know if you actually seen it. It's funny because you really can't uh find any real breakdown of the FBA anywhere, to be honest. I've been trying to like do some research, trying to find, a lot, and some things don't bother me instead of trying to judge my brothers and sisters because I don't want to use a platform for that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not me. I don't want to do that. Hold on a second. Oh man. I hope it pops up. But yeah, they got a flag, and it's something like the American flag. It got I'm trying to get it up. Hopefully it'll pop up. Oh man, it did. All right. Sorry, y'all. No, I'll see if I bring it up. But yeah, they got a flag that is it's interesting because I don't know if you know around the 70s, we had two. Yeah, they didn't tell us about that. It's called, I don't even know if you heard of it, that African American Heritage. There it is. FBA flag should come up. There you go. We have another flag called the African Heritage flag, right? Some brothers, I think it out of California started it. I'm not sure. I gotta do more research on it because it's not too much talking about it. But when you're telling people this is not an organization. You're telling people this is a movement. You're telling people this is not a nation. From a man that been in organizations and been in nations and been a leader of certain organizations, I know how to build an organization. When you have a flag, you are representing yourself as a nation and and a group of people or organization. You have a flag with your name on it that says 1526. As you said it, that the Black American lineage started in this country around that time. This is their flag. Now, now they are called the foundational Black Americans. And for those of you, I'm sure, don't know really what they're really about. I didn't know. I didn't even know they existed until the Fat Joe thing happened. I would wonder you'd be making some noise prior to that. But I not judging you. I don't know why. I don't know what the case is. But you're here now in my thoughts. So you're in my vision. So I'm talking about you. What they're about is the lineage of black people in this country that was born, that created everything such as sneakers, the stoplight, cars, doors, the iron. Yes, we made everything in this country. We created everything in this country. My thing is you shouldn't limit yourself because we created everything in existence. It didn't just start in America. We made reading, we made math, we made hieroglyphs, we made civilizations before America was even thought of. But you want to designate yourself for just that particular country? Okay, okay, that's cool. If that's what you want to do. But after everything that I said about the boule, I just want you to know this is the power that you have to fight when the time comes. And it will come because you're all over social media making a whole lot of noise. See, what you're doing is you're making two types of different black people in America. You're making those that want to be African American, stay African American, and then you're making those that want to be FBA. So now you got two types of different black people in America. It's bad enough we don't really know who the hell we is, most of us, and we running around here crazy. Now we separating ourselves, and then they calling each other thitters. Somebody called me that the other day, said a thitter. I said, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what it was, right? I said, what the hell is that? I said, pay no mind. He called me that again. What the hell calling me a thitter? So I had to go, I had to go in the dictionary. So it means a person that is restricted, no movement, that is tied to a chain, tied by a chain to an object or horse. He has no movement. He's just mobilized. I'm called that, and a lot of black people that don't see eye to eye with the FBA is called that as well. You're starting to make us feel like when Jews call us anti-Semitics. You see what I'm saying? So if I don't agree with you, all of a sudden I'm a sellout. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. What's the name of your school? What's the name of your land? What's the name of your bike? I mean, your bank. What's the name of your currency? I ask that because when you start calling people titter and saying they're restricted of movement, you have to look at your own background of what you're doing and pointing fingers because you are in the same position as we are who call themselves African Americans. We in the same boat. For the past week, I've heard you go at it with people overseas, such as Africa. You say African people don't like you. We don't like African people. I think it's both because the enemy made it like that. We have no connections to Africa as it is. And we've been programmed to be Europeans or think like Europeans since birth. Just because you black doesn't mean you think it. We made all this money as rappers and entertainers, but nobody's flying to Africa to give us a beautiful image of it. Instead, they in St. Topaz in the Bahamas and all that other garbage, showing pictures on jet skis, poisoning our minds, wanting us to be there. That's for the people over here. So I can understand why some Africans ain't feeling us. I can understand they say you've been free and you still want to unify with your enemy. They're killing your leaders and you still want to integrate. You still want to hold on to their culture. You still want to hold on to their education. So I can understand why they're not feeling us. But I can understand why we're not feeling them either. You sold us over here. You helped make us like this. And then when you do come over here with your riches, especially Nigerians, you set up a community where you segregate yourself from us. And then when you come to us, you expect us to be humble or treat you in a polite way. So we're being put at against each other. So far as I'm concerned, I don't have anything against Africa because I know who I am. I know that's Kemet. I know that's where the education of everything started. I know that we were called Asiatic people. When I read Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and Clarence 13X Slim say this, I said Asiatic. What, Chinese or something? Then I had to do research. And then I come to find out that that whole, you could call Middle East, which is in the middle of nowhere, Asiatic people, black people, Moors, Kemet. Then as I continue to study, I said, wait a minute, Elijah Muhammad wasn't the first one to say we was Asiatic people. It was Noble Drew Ali, who's a Moor, a Muslim. He brought that here in the 20s. They hated him because they had a ban on Islamic country. Somehow, some way, he found Islam. I don't know how. Today, they're called the more science people. So if you want to separate, like a lot of people in the FBA say, so we could do our own thing, then how about this? I got a good idea for you. How about you do it like the Moorish Science Temple? Be a, what is it? A sovereign. You know what that is? That's when you cash in your birth certificate and they give you $1 million. It's a whole lot of paperwork. And you become free from this country. You do not become a citizen, which means you don't pay taxes when you work, but you don't have life insurance and you don't have health insurance. You independent. See, when you start thinking like that, people start thinking different. They wait a minute, wait. What you mean? I'm independent. What do you mean? I can't file taxes? No, you don't file taxes because you don't pay it. Well, I want to be a citizen. Wait. See, people start thinking different when you hear it like that. But when you be a sovereign, then that's independent. That's when you separate. But I hear them, and I hear them, and don't get me wrong. I understand what they're doing, and I agree with some of the things they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Put it like this: I agree more than I disagree. You know what I'm saying? Because they talking about dealing with miseducation that has been lost to us due to the help of Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of a Negro, because he's a boule. He's a boule, man. They hid our history. And I know some of you said, what he said, Asiatic, black man, black woman. Nah, he's stretching. Let me ask you a question. When you ever read about Malcolm, did you ever heard them call Malcolm a liar? When Farrakhan speaking, he said Asiatic black. You ever heard the enemy say he's a liar? What about Clarence 13X Smith? What about Noble Drew Ali? Have you read anywhere where they talk about our true identity and they say he's a liar? I'm just asking. This will sparks my interest. Even I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Russia, they just opened up their ancient first church and realized all the prophets in the Bible and the people that spoken in the Bible are the original man. All black paintings up in the church in Russia, which is not a secret because see, we chased them across the hot Arabian desert into the caves of Sokoke Mountain because after we made them, they came to the Holy Land and they started causing all this confusion. Now, I know some of you might say, come on, man, you talking about chasing them across the hot Arabian. I'm not talking about Caucasians because it wasn't made yet. I'm talking about black people who had this birth control law to make a new man. Let us make man in our image. And I know you saying, nah, well, why the secret society's not saying that we're lying? Notice I said we chased them across the hot Arabian desert. That's the burning sand. Secret society, I want to talk to you. You ever heard of the burning sands? Why you have to be humiliated and chased across the burning sands? That comes from the Enoch Bible. That comes from what we did in the birth controller. Now I know you're saying now have you go with the birth controller with the white people, but you do it with dogs, don't you? You believe in cloning sheep and all that, don't you? They know who they are. They know that you are their father. That's why they have a 33-degree Mason that's called Muslim sons. They're Shriners, George Washington. They all follow the Holy Quran. They know who you are. Yes, the fathers and mothers of civilization. That's who we are. They know that. And they're afraid that if you come into power, it ain't going to be the same for them ever again. But it's already happening. Look at everything that's going on in the news. They losing everything. And the Boule is trying, even the Boule, people are not even feeling them anymore. See, Camilla Harris, they've been dubbing her. They talk to her like defecation all through social media while she was running. They don't have faith in the Boule anymore. You Uncle Tom's, allegedly. I gotta say, hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, I gotta talk to you about this. So I just want the Boulets to know that, I mean, the FBAs to know that when you actually start actually making real noise, like you actually want to replace the Boule, that's who you're going to be going after. All those sonorities, Divine Nine. And as a matter of fact, since the FBA, since a lot of you are educated, how many people you got in your organization or movement that's been in the fraternities or sororities in college? See, man, this thing here, a lot of you really need to study if you're going to claim this movement. Because when you claim this movement to be a threat to this system and to the Boule system, you end up like Malcolm, you end up like King, you end up like Marcus Garvey, you end up like Noble Drew Ali, you end up like Clarence 13X Smith. This is who you end up like. You end up like Diddy, you end up like Bill Cosby. Because he wanted to buy NBC. What are you doing? They told you the first time. He didn't listen. He tried to do it again. And you notice all of them go to jail for the similar things, drugging females and sex. You know why? Because they all doing it. That's why. That's the only thing they could get them for. Our history, my story is a mystery. Yeah, it is. It's a mystery. But these are whole the boulets, these are the people that's socially engineering the black community on what we need to do and what we should do. So we look at the puppets, the black leaders, so-called black leaders, and they say, this is what we're gonna do. And we cheer for them because they look like us and they talk like us, but unknown to us, they're not thinking like us. And then they hoard us into a burning fire. And then we keep saying, yo, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Well, if you don't help out, your universities will no longer be funded. If you don't help out, you won't be in political circles anymore. If you don't help out, you won't get the insider tips to trades and make money. If you don't help out, you won't get to be in partnership deals like the help of building the Barclays Center and getting millions and billions. If you don't help out, you will not be in the Forbes magazine. If you don't help out, you won't be in the history books. You'll just be a dead nigga that everybody will just worship you after you die. Because most of us, we do that with the stand-up leaders when they actually stand up against white supremacy or the boule. We kind of like cheer from the sidelines because we know we're gonna get our head busted or we're gonna get fired. But as soon as they get assassinated about 10 years down the line, we go, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know? So for the boules and African Americans, if that's what you want to call yourselves, and that's cool. What you need to do and what we need to do is unify and get together. Put all the differences to the side about what you want to be called. Because That word America started in the 1700s. So you can't be an American. Stop it. You can't. It's impossible. You have no birth record. They found Lucy that was 2 million years old in Africa, wrapped up. And she had a mother and father. So talk to me. You are not that. How do we go from a Kemet, Moors, Israelites, all these powerful organizations to some lame ass thing called American? We not no Americans. Like I said in one of my last episodes, if a Siberian tiger give birth to a Siberian tiger over here, is it American tiger or is it a Siberian tiger? You hear Caucasians saying, I'm an Anglo-Saxon American? You hear them saying, I'm a Caucasian American? So why you an African American? Now, one of the things I like about what the BOULE said is that it puts us in a category of a migrant because you have the Dominican Americans, the Chinese Americans, the Italian Americans, and now you got the African Americans. You see what I'm saying? It puts us in a mind like we're immigrants. Well, technically, we are. When you got to keep fighting the government to make a law for your safety, you're an immigrant. You just don't see it because we was born here and we was taught from birth that we're citizens, and in our mind we actually think that. I'm before I knew all of this, I actually think, I was an African American. You couldn't tell me that I'll argue down with you. What? We got Shaka Zulu, and I ain't know now, but I know the basic. But as I continue to read, I continue to learn that we're not even black. I said something wrong. I said something wrong. We're not even black. That name came up because the Caucasians didn't know what to call themselves because they had no color. That's why when you walk, when they walk, you can see the red in their feet, or when you slap them, you can see the blood. So they have no color, they have no complexion, but they still have melanin in them. But that because that's what's inside of you. Now, that's another thing that I want to say. One of the things Elijah Muhammad, most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said, you could say the white man is the devil, that you would say the white man, that white man, that white man. That. And we all know, yeah, they came from us. But you see their ways and actions, you see their behaviors. He said, now look in the mirror. That's what's sitting right inside of you. That messed me up. I said, oh shit. So sometimes we got to be careful when we point fingers at the white man because that's what's inside of you. That's why our communities is the way it is. It's just that they had a little ahead of time to organize and they knew how to unorganize us in order to stay in power. That's why we so confused. We don't know who we are. We got so many different nationalities to the point we start grabbing nationalities. Oh, I'm black and Indian. Yeah, no, I'm Chickachowan. You know what I'm saying? But you won't even know the damn language. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was just saying, man. We just need to do better, you know what I'm saying, and unify instead of just arguing about, African Americans and FBA because the enemy, they sitting back and they watching and they laughing. They look, the niggas still can't get it together. Stop FBAs. Stop begging your enemy for money. Stop begging your enemy for money. We need reparations. No, you don't. You don't need no reparations. You ain't getting no reparations. They tried to give Farrakhan, actually, Muammar Gaddafi tried to give Farrakhan, the president of an African country in Libya, a Muslim, tried to give Farrakhan $1 billion to help the black community. What? The government went in an uproar. They told Farrakhan he can't get it. Listen, it wasn't coming from America. It was coming from another country. They said, hell no. So what? So you can rule us? Hell no. Not no Farrakhan. We maybe give it to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton because we know what they're going to do. But Farrakhan? No. Not giving it to that. No. I will put that video, but I don't want to keep going through with this thing. But I wanted you to hear it from themselves. But they said no. And then they wanted to put out an arrest for him where they smuggled him back into the States. And then they left him alone. Because Libya had a restriction, they couldn't come over here. Nobody, if you was a Libyan citizen, you couldn't come to the US. See, what Libya did, what Gaddafi had done, he brought together the United States of Africa. And with the help of China and African countries, and I think it's another country, I think it's Japan, they created what is called the Bitcoin, which is rivaling the American dollar, which is going to cause the American dollar to fall. So when he was doing that, they said, that's enough. We have to get Gaddafi out of here. So they made up some bull crap, and the soldiers went, yeah, get Gaddafi out of here. Meanwhile, he's the president of 95% of Black people with free health care, no homeless people. And we, yeah. But understand, we don't know because they keep us ignorant from the media. They want us to watch Tyler Perry with a man in a dress. This is the entertainment that they want to give us, the boule. You know, they came from our lower self. Yeah, they came from our lower self-esteem. They actually did. They tell you. You ever heard of a woman named Jane Elliott? Oh man, let me tell you. Let me show you something. Now this I have to play. I'm sorry. I have to play. I think I got her here. I'm not sure. I think I do have her here. Not sure. I had saved it because I was going to talk about her a while ago. Because you know, a lot of white people they don't like her. No, they don't like her. Okay, I don't have it. All right, so I might look at my phone and play it for you, but it's very interesting because what she did and what she was saying was she was talking about uh that's how they wrap Jeff Ford up. Hold up, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get to while I'm looking for Jane, we're gonna talk about Jeff Ford. So Jeff Ford, he was the head of the Black Peace Storm Army in Chicago, right? And he ran, I could say 70% of Chicago with the um Black Stones. And as time went on, and one of the members, check this out, one of the members is Jesse Jackson's brother, biological brother, biological brother, who got caught up in a lot of political controversy outside the country. You know what I'm saying? And with the help of the Boule and the connections that Jesse Jackson had with the Boule for Jeff Ford, they turned into the El Rukin because what they wanted to do, they had to do righteously. They couldn't do it in a criminal aspect because the government would have came for them. So he changed it to the El Rukin and they became Muslims. And what they started to do was they started to have a connection with Africa and they started doing business. They they started building a community up. Then they started to make their own army. Now that's the problem came because they started to getting rocket launchers. They was getting stuff shipped from overseas. They was an army. So Fred Hampton knew about this. And Fred Hampton, he had the other percentage of Chicago. Fred Hampton was a young Black man that's about 25 years old. He was a Black Panther and he had it in the uproar. He was what Malcolm was to the Black Panthers in Chicago. So they wanted to unify them, Fred Hampton and Jeff Ford. it was, they kept bumping heads because, Jeff Ford, allegedly they say he was still doing criminal activity. I don't know. Abdul Malik Kabah. Yes, thank you. That's his name. I couldn't remember it. You know what I'm saying? But I knew Jeff Ford. You know what I'm saying? And they got jammed up. You know, Al Wilkins, they got locked up. Of course, they got life. They was called the terrorist organization. At the same time, they assassinated Fred Hampton. They put a black FBI agent on him who infiltrated the Chicago chapter. Um, they made a movie of it. I forgot the name of the movie. They got. Um, and while his wife was in the house with him, pregnant, they shot the house up 200 and something times. Um, Fred Hampton was shot several times. He was still breathing, but he was unconscious because the black federal agent, undercover agent, drugged him and he was out. Another goddamn boule mentality. And when they went up in the house and they said the nigga's still alive, now this is the wife saying it. They said the nigga's still alive. And they put the gun to his head and they told her, "Look at me, you nigga bitch. You want to free your people?" And they blew his head off right then and there in front of her. Then they put the gun and they pointed it to her belly and they threatened to kill her baby. To this day, Fred Hampton Jr. is serving 50 years in federal prison because he took up the work of his father. Come on, talk to me. FBA, this is what you're going to be facing when you want to stop picking on little punk issues like Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes, and no disrespect. But I just think that you got a bigger problem and a bigger issue than talking about Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes. This is my opinion. Because we're attacking each other on social media where we should be attacking the enemy. Not our own. We can disagree, but we don't have to start calling each other names, Uncle Toms and Tithers and all this bullshit. Because the enemy's sitting back. You know one thing I like about the enemy? That when they disagree with each other, they don't really too much go, well, Donald Trump does, but they don't really get online and start calling each other names. They shut each other down educationally, respectfully. They don't call each other names. They'll show a little shot, but they'll say that in a political correct way. Like Donald Trump last night, or actually today, I watched the inauguration where he said, yeah, because the country's been rioting for a few years, but now I'm here and we're going to get it together. See, he said it in a professional way, but it was a shock of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris sitting right there to his left. I was like, yo, he's a dirty. Oh, man, let me see if I can find this lady here, man. I'm trying to find it for y'all. I love when she talk. Oh, this is real quick. Because I remember I was telling you about the 33-degree Mason, right? This is what they have on their fast. You see that star and the sword? It represents Islam. The star, the crescent and the star represents Islam, and the sword up top represents if you release our secrets, we're gonna kill your ass. And they go pay homage and they go make pilgrimage in Mecca and everything. And they're taught that the black man and woman is their God. I didn't make this up. I'm not a 33-degree Mason. Some of their teachings fell in my lap. I'm only going by what they feel. Why did George Washington have a Quran? Why is Thomas Jefferson Quran is signed in the Library of Congress? I thought they was Christians. What's up with that? So am I crazy? Y'all all right out there? Just checking. I'm trying to find this thing here, man. Oh man. I tell you what, I got a better idea. Since I say I got TikTok. Yo, it's crazy with this TikTok thing, right? Oh man. Yo, it's so crazy with TikTok, man. They had the country in an uproar. Now, uh,
The way we have treated people of color in this country. If you'd like to be treated that way, all you white folks, if you want that for the rest of your life, please stand.
hold up, y'all. Here we go.
Every person in this room wants to be treated the way we have treated people of color in this country. If you'd like to be treated that way, all you white folks, if you want that for the rest of your life, please stand. Did you understand the directions? If you're white and you think blacks have got it so good in this country and you want to be treated the way they have been for the rest of your life, just stand up. You know why you aren't standing. You know it's ugly, and you know it's happening, and you know you don't want it to happen to you. So I want to know why you're so willing to allow it for others.
Now, I'm gonna get back to that, but I want to show you what. Yeah, James, he speaks it. Oh, yo, when I heard her, she made my toes curl. I was like, yo, this lady is going. Yo, I'm surprised they still letting her live. The things she's saying. I'm like, yo, she don't got no army around. She got no protect. Maybe they just letting her live because she's old and white and they know she's gonna die. Like Farrakhan, they just waiting for him to die. They not gonna kill him because if they kill Farrakhan, America is over. The country is over in 25. I kid you not. I'm not playing. It's over because it's an army. Like the Jews, when after they go to school and they finish school, they have to go to Israel and join the army for a whole year. They have to get military training because you have to protect your nation. So you kill a Farrakhan, it's over. You know? All right. So uh let me see. I'm trying to find Jane Elliott. Uh, yeah, clearly B for Pacific. I was on y'all podcast, man. Y'all was talking some good things, man. Y'all gotta check them out, man. A lot going on and communicate clearly be Pacific. Y'all gotta check their podcast out, man. They were talking some good things yesterday. You know, I was enjoying it. Okay, let me see.
We own a house and we put the house up for rent. Elliot, is there any white person was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America? If you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. We educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living.
Talk
we
to
celebrate that every October. It's a lie. Any white person.
Now, I was trying to actually find what I was gonna find, but she was also talking about. Oh, I think this was. Oh, here we go.
Who's George Washington? Who was our first black president?
Okay, now, all right. I won't go too much looking for it, but she also has a few videos where she's talking about the making of the white woman and the white man, and she said it clearly. She said we came from them. She said we didn't make them; they made us. So we color struck. See, I hear people say too that a lot of people in society, a lot of people in society is actually mimicking us and want to be us, and white people is color struck, and white people want to be like us, and they following our ways and actions and everything for us, music and dancing and talking. You know, that's not the first time that happened. And the reason why we saying that now is because we don't know our history. When we took them from the caves and we brought them over there to educate them, and we gave them Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt while we stayed in Kemet. Yeah, because Egypt, that ain't our hood, that's their hood. That's the ghetto. That's where they live. That's the land we gave them so we could civilize them and give them the education. Oh man. You know what? My mind just went blank for a second. Oh man, it happens sometimes because I was thinking about three things at the same time while I was talking to you. I apologize. I'll get back to it. Somebody help me. Where did I last leave off at? If you could help me out. I need to remember because I was getting to something. Oh, never mind. I got it. So while we taught them over there and teaching them, they were fascinated by the things we had. You gotta understand, this is not a joking matter. To a point, and laugh at their culture and their history. They really had no culture like that. But being in the caves, half naked, crawling on their own fours, and killing animals and eating it raw. That's why when they go to the restaurants, they always want their food, their steak medium rare. Rare is raw. That's their nature. It's no disrespect. That's just where it is. So when we brought them over there and we started to show them how to cook their foods and how to use herbs and spices and how to and then educating them, they began to look at that our culture and begin to gravitate to it. Because see, when you don't have a culture, you don't have a name, and you don't have anything, you start to attach yourself to something so you could belong to something because you need identity. So they was over there mimicking us, dressing like us, talking like us, even integrating with us. So it's no difference what they're doing today. So stop getting up here acting like this just started. It ain't start. We was always being followed. We was always being followed. Even in our madness, we are the craziest people on the planet. And I'm not even talking about Africans. We're different from them. I mean, we're the same far as our ancestors and our history, but God wanted to make a new people. That's why we get the Asiatic. He wanted to make a new people. So you had people from the Moors and the Israelites being raped and by Persian and integrating with other Asiatic backgrounds, and we began to call ourselves from different tribes. We never called ourselves by color, only by name of a tribe or a nation. But you got these new people that they wanted what we had or had, and they used divide and conquer. You know, we're good at certain things. They say black people is good at running. We're good at making things. We're good at rapping. We're good at acting. We're good at damn near everything we touch, except for one thing we're not good at. We're not good at war. Why I say we're not good at war? Because, like the brother said, that's our lower self. That's our the bottom. That's the uncivilized self of us. We're not too intact in that. Somebody had to bring that out and bring it in, put it into physical form for us to master that. You can't build guns like them. You can't build nukes like them. It's just not in our genetic makeup. That's why you can't make a good horror movie like that. It's not your nature to. Your nature is to sing "We Are the World." No disrespect, but we just humble people like that. In our madness, you have to now trigger us, and we're like this now because the enemy made us this way. Remember, we was just marching, but throughout the scriptures, God was making a new people. You can't even call us niggas to our face no more. We'll knock your damn heads off. This is a new people. You can't grab us up in the hood and try to kill us out in the street. We're new people. We'll burn this shit down. That's just what it is. And like I said, these people, the BOULE, who are also 33-degree Masons and other Masonic fraternities, they know the truth. They know who you are. The Pope knows who you are. There's a reason why he prays to the Black Madonna and child. They know who you are. I don't want to get too biblical and stuff like that with you, but every time I do research, it lands me there. And then when it lands me to the Caucasian, there's always some secret society. I'm like, why is it always some secrets? Why is it always a secret? And then when I get to the bottom of it, it's always mimicking us because that's what secret societies came from. Egypt, the holographics on the wall. You had to be at a certain level to get a certain education. That's why everything that is mimic a secret society revolves around Egypt, revolves around you. It's always around us. Y'all all right out there? I went too deep. How about that, man? I'm gonna close out. I don't want to keep y'all too long. Um, but again, you know, um, we just got to do better as a people and come together instead of bashing one another. FBA, African American, Asian American, whatever you want to call yourself. Me personally, I call you the people of color, the original people. You the original people. When I hear what's the total population of the original nation of the planet Earth, they said original nation. They didn't say what's the total population of the black people and then the Asian people and then the Hispanic people who look like us. No, they said the original nation. That means we got to get all our people, not no just at America and forget about Africa and forget about Britain. Britain was going, and in France, they was going through their own civil rights movement during the time of Dr. Martin Luther King. How dare you say that? Forget them? And I hear the term, they not like us. They not like us. Separation. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool. What it's going to take for us to really see it? For someone to actually get their head blown off? For us to start making podcasts and say, all right, we're going to unify. Listen, it's a misunderstanding because that's what's going to happen. Or somebody going to get punched in their mouth. No, for real. Because you're coming at people a certain way. I know Fat Joe, they said he got canceled from the BET Awards. I don't entertain that because we don't own BET. Bob Johnson, that's part of the BOULE. Him and his wife, they sold it for $3 billion and they split it 1.3 billion apiece. They don't care about that. You know why they want it? You know why they wanted BET? Because BET had something that was so dangerous. They had a news outlet for black people that was ran by black people. You wasn't being tricked like that. So they wasn't entertaining us with all the garbage on BET. You had girlfriends and all that, and you had Uncut Late at Night, but you didn't really have too much of the garbage we see now, like the reality shows. You had the educational stuff on there, especially when that news came on. You had that sister, what was her name? Jackie? Man, she came out, she had the cleavage, she sat all there pretty. Man, she was so pretty. I tuned in just to look at her. But they knew what they was doing. Because they knew we would tune in just to look at her, but we was getting educated. They said, nah, these niggas is they're getting too smart. BET gotta go. See, this is social, this is media warfare. That's why all the Jews own the media. Everybody is in high positions. And us at the bottom, we don't see us because it's not being taught to us because we're not on that level. We're citizens on the bottom. We just go by what they tell us and then we run with it. That's what they hope. And hoping that the black leaders is there to throw us off track and we follow them. Not follow them because they leading us to hell. They going to the bank and we going to hell. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we gotta do better. You know what I mean? These so-called black leaders, let me tell you something. Like I said, one thing I noticed is if you're doing something and you're dangerous, the enemy is gonna come for you. They're gonna come for you. See how they came for Puffy? He sued Diego, the liquor store, the liquor company, and he went against the BOULE, his own fraternity. They got him so trapped up, his head's spinning right now. Everybody that he dealt with pulled back from. That's the same thing they did with King. When King didn't want to stop, they pulled back. They left him alone. Come on now. Y'all all right? All right. But look, anybody got something to say? I'm out of here in like 5 minutes. I thought I would talk about this because there's just a lot going on. with our people. And I don't want to always make it seem like it's just white people, white people, white people. You know what I'm saying? One last thing, far as reparations, FBA, I want to say this to you. Why do you want to keep begging your enemy for something that you already have? First of all, when you're in warfare and you got an enemy, your enemy wants to destroy everything about you. You're not friends, you're not family, you're not nothing. So stop trying to go into the enemy's house thinking that you're an equal. You're not an equal. You're an enemy. You're a natural enemy. But as enemies, they pacify each other so there's no war. So as long as there's no revolution, they're going to keep pacifying you enough until we as a people don't rise up. They're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep pacifying us. We're not getting no reparations. You already got it. You already got it. We spend and make over $1 trillion a year. You have movie stars and entertainers in positions when it comes to land. Tyler Perry got a studio. He can hire black people. Cat Williams got one. You can hire black people. We could get other land. We could go to Africa and get natural resources and bring it and distribute it to us. But I know when that happens, the war gonna begin. People gonna start getting locked up. It's gonna be propaganda, false narrative machines, and stuff like that because you trying to be independent. But as long as we gonna sit there like Negroes and beg for some shit that we already got, I just don't get it. And on top of that, you got EBT too. What more do you want to be independent? They gave you money where you could buy land and houses. What more do you want? You have it in your position. How about we unify and we pull our resources together, and those that's in high positions can make it happen? But that's gonna be hard. You know why? Because we don't trust each other. That's why. So we're going to continue with this charade for a year. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for listening. Y'all have a good night. God bless you. You stay up and I'll see you another time. Later.